Are we live? I'm just hearing a bunch of music, my friend.
Give it about 20 seconds.
20 seconds?
Yeah.
All right. Can people hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Now I can see myself. Hey, folks. How about that, huh? We are going uptown here. We are episode number 81 of Elk Talk Live. I mean, I'm looking at this. Kyler is in charge of this operation. And we moved everything from Facebook to YouTube for a couple reasons. One, YouTube, we get way more traffic. And two, we can do something this cool, this good, right here on, I mean, gosh, Kyler, I think you get a raise today, man. And look at that. They say they can even hear me. Someone says, I brought donuts. Hey, Nick, that's good to hear. You know how I am with my donuts, right? So, Elk Talk Live, brought to you by OnX, OnX Hunt, OnX Maps. Go to onxmaps.com, use promo code Randy and save 20%. And we got all kinds of other places. In case you forgot, you can save a lot of money by using our promo code. So if you go to gerbergear.com and use promo says they're eating dilly bars.
There you go.
All right. Look at them all showing up here. Oh my goodness. All right. Going back to promo codes. Kyler, you're stressing me out here, man. Yeah, we got a production guy over here and he's just like, oh no. And he's spazzing out, grabbing everything, which usually means the audio crapped out on us.
Audio's on.
Okay, he says audio's on. So if you can't hear us, make sure that you yell at Kyler, not Randy. But then also want to make sure if you go to gohunt.com and go to the Insider and sign up and use promo code Randy, you get two things out of that. First, you get $50 of Mad Money in their store. And then this year, from anyone who used our promo code between July 1 of 19 and June 30th of 2020, you're going to get a Wyoming commissioner's tag. We're going to draw it. Not everybody. We're going to draw it. And somebody's going to get a commissioner's tag. So, all right. It says sound is back. So, it looks like you're not going to get fired after all, Kyler. I'd hate to have to put another job offer up here. Last time we put a job offer up here, we got, I think, 260 applications for that one job. Telling you what, Kyler, you all right. I'm not going to go there. All right. Someone said, Kyler, you're fired. All right. Randy, what's the best elk hunting unit in Colorado? Yeah, it depends on how many points you have. There's a lot of really good units. Depends on if you're hunting rifle. It's pretty easy to tell. Just go look at the demand index on the Colorado Parks and Wildlife website. And there are no secrets. The units that are the hardest to draw usually are considered the highest quality hunt in terms of age class and in terms of access. So, let's see. All right, Daniel, you're asking the question we always talk about. It seems like we got to go over this one about every week or two. For all the wisdom about avoiding bad winds, I never hear people talk about scent control for elk hunting. What does your approach to scent differ from whitetail methods? Huge. Elk hunters don't believe in all these spray-on waste of money products for elk hunting. We don't walk around with wafers. We don't use cover scents because if you get in a situation where an elk is in your wind corridor, the game's up, whether you're wearing all that or not. Now in a tree stand, maybe it can disguise it enough that it'll kind of, you're up here and the deer's down there and it'll kind of go over the top of them or something. But elk hunting is such an active thing, you're never going to cover up your scent. You're sweating, it just is not going to work. So that's why you never see people using them, or seldom see people using them while elk hunting. If you see people using them while they're elk hunting, the odds are there's someone who's sponsored by that company, and the contract says, oh, I got to spray down 3 times in this episode. That's when you'll see people using them when they're elk hunting. Jared says, my son Avery is about to go to bed. Can you say hi to him? Avery, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. Randy, is there going to be an opportunity to hunt with you? We just drew the person. Sean was the winner. We did that last fall, and we drew. We have him applied in Wyoming, and we're applying him in New Mexico, and we'll see how that goes. Best rifle season in Colorado if you were a non-resident and it was your closest state to hunt. For me, the answer is the 3rd season. I prefer to hunt the 3rd rifle season rather than the 2nd rifle season. 2nd rifle season is more crowded. Weather's usually a little better, but I like the 3rd rifle season because the hunting pressure has moved the elk, at least the bulls, and the bulls are now they're not as dispersed on the landscape, so it's harder to find them, but when you do find them, they're in very predictable and very concentrated areas. To me, it's the easier time to shoot one. Oh, let's see. John, I like that, John. Wanted to tell you that your Randy Newberg Howa signature series rifle is sweet. I kind of think so myself. And before everybody asks, so last year, you can only get them at Sportsman's Warehouse. So last year, when Howa made these rifles, they made a limited run of them. And they all got shipped to Sportsman's Warehouse, and I didn't get one. And I'm like, hey guys, I need a couple of these. So they sent me a 300 and they sent me a 308. So I only had those 2. Normally I have this whole arsenal of Howa rifles to pick from. And so I was loaning out my 308 quite a bit last season, the one in the Randy Newberg signature series. And so I ended up hunting most of the season with my 300 Win Mag, and everybody jumps to the conclusion, oh, Randy gave up on the 308. No, not the case. I'm still a big fan of the 308. So, before anyone talked about that, I thought I'd throw it out there. What do I think about the 380 tag in Montana? I think it's a great hunt, but I think it's way overrated. Just my own personal opinion. I'm not going to wait that many years and possibly go my whole life without drawing. There's a lot of other units that are limited entry units that are not that much below the Elkhorn's Unit 380 that are really good units. So keep applying there if it's in your backyard, but not for me. Should I pass on my first elk and wait for a big one or shoot the first legal bull? I'm hunting with a guide on public land. That's up to you, Brandon, but I'm shooting the first legal bull I see. That's that's what I'm doing. So, but that's the beauty of hunting is everybody gets to pick their own outcome or their own desires of what they want to do. If you're the tag holder, it doesn't matter what I think you should do or what I would do. All that matters is what makes you happy. And if it makes you happy, the rest of the world doesn't matter. So, all right, 308 or 7mm08. Ooh, man, that's like a flip of a coin. If I was doing more deer and antelope hunting and less elk hunting, it'd be a 7mm08. If I was doing more elk hunting and less deer and antelope hunting, 308. Either instance, I'm using high quality bullets. In my 308, I use Nosler Partitions, 165 grain. In my 7mm08, I use their 140 grain E-tips. In my 300 Win Mag, I sometimes use the AccuBonds in my 300 Win Mag, but I have yet to find a 300 Win Mag that does not love Nosler's E-tips. And the E-tips are a non-lead bullet, and they perform super, super well. Really well. Do I prefer traditional toilet paper or wet wipes in the field? I'm a traditional toilet paper guy, but I don't buy that El Cheapo toilet paper. You know, if someone shows up and they think saving money on toilet paper by buying that single layer stuff is worthwhile, you don't want to hunt with them. That means that they're probably eating beans and weenies and all kinds of other stuff. No. Go for the real deal, man. I mean, yeah. Don't get me started on that. I've had people show up with El Cheapo toilet paper. Good way to get run out of my camp. Mule deer versus pronghorn in Idaho. Not even a question. In Idaho, mule deer. You guys have some unbelievable mule deer there. Ever have issues with my CDS dials? Nope, I never have. I've been asked that question a few times. It says, I know they're supposed to be set up for a specific elevation and temperature. Yep, they are. And then you got to get your dope chart so you know how that changes based on elevation or based on atmospheric conditions. So, what was that? What group do you get from your Howa 7MM08? If I don't have all my old targets here, but if I did, usually I get those at 100 yards if I'm on the bench. Once I got it dialed in and the barrel is exactly how I want it as far as cleaned, they're always well under an inch. I'm the weak link in that equation all the time. I'm always the weak link. Oh, we got to make sure that everybody knows what the deadlines are that are coming up. Because I've been on the road, I left for Arizona on January 9th. I hunted there for a week, and then I went to Reno for 5 days for the sheep show. Then I went to the SHOT Show for 5 days. I was home for a couple days, went to Portland for a week for a trade show, home for a couple days, and then to Minneapolis for another trade show. I didn't have a chance to do Elk Talk Live before the Wyoming and the Arizona deadlines. So those are already passed. If you've missed them, I'm sorry. But ahead of us, March 5th is Utah. March 18th is New Mexico. Montana has moved theirs from March 15th to April 1st this year. And I think Colorado's is April 7th, if I remember right. And Nevada hasn't quite said what theirs is, or if they have, I haven't found out where it is, but it's sometime in late April, early May. So be thinking about those items. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Bowtech right here. Yeah. Oh, see this? They just sent me this new Revolt. I haven't even had a chance to set it up yet. Got it. Some guy here said, hey, my $1,300 Bowtech hat came with a new Revolt X. There you go. And if you want to be notified about these Elk Talk Lives, you have to text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to, what is the number again? 64600. And Bowtech's going to give us some bows to give away here in the next coming month. So that's also going to get you in the drawing for these bows that Bowtech has given us. Can't believe I forgot that, man. Oh, let's see. 308 for elk out to 300 yards. Okay or not okay? Perfect. I've shot plenty of bull elk at 300 yards with a 308. The New Mexico Elk Draw podcast coming soon. Yep, it is. I recorded it. In fact, we recorded the YouTube video for it today. It'll be out probably in the next week or so. What hunt am I looking forward to in 2020? That's a good question. Mostly depends on what we end up with for tags. We usually don't know until the tags are in our pocket. Then we start planning and prioritizing what story is here, what story is there. The beauty of where we live is in Montana, we can always get over-the-counter deer, over-the-counter elk. Just across the state line in Idaho, we can get over-the-counter deer and elk. We can do over-the-counter elk in Colorado. I always apply for a really easy-to-draw archery mule deer tag in Nevada, where I draw probably 2 out of 3 years. So, who knows? We always pull 1 or 2 really good tags. So, where am I hunting elk this year? Don't really know. Do I like hunting in Oregon? I don't know. I've never hunted in Oregon, and someday I probably will for Roosevelts and blacktails. But I dropped out of the Oregon point game because it's really expensive for non-residents to build points, and you only get a super, super little percentage of the tags for non-residents. And I just said, you know what? It's easier or a better return on my money to spend it elsewhere. So, Let's see. Hunting Unit 4, Colorado, second rifle, staying at 8,800 feet. Should we hunt higher, close to 10,000 feet, or stay closer to private roads, private lands at 8,500 feet? That depends. You're hunting a post-rut period. In post-rut, the bulls are going to be in the ugly sanctuary locations. So if there are sanctuaries at 8,500 feet, and remember, boundaries, public land versus private land, those boundaries that you're mentioning there about near private land, a lot of times those serve as a sanctuary. So maybe you would go down and you'd hunt closer to that private just because the elk feel comfortable there, but they don't have on-X. The elk move back and forth across those boundaries. I don't have a phone with on-X on it. So that makes it a lot easier to use that as a possible sanctuary. Let's see. Are we doing this on Instagram also? Oh, any advice on Unit 76 archery in Colorado? No, I have not hunted it. Other than I hear that the elk densities are super, super high. And I hear that it's a really, really neat wilderness hunt, but I've not hunted it. What's a good hunt for kids in Montana? Get them a cow tag. There's tons of really good places to go and hunt a cow tag here in Montana for elk. If they're rifle hunting, Montana's really a tough state for rifle elk. And here's why. Montana, our best elk country is where the mountains are in the western half of the state. And the high country, this stuff up here where the elk are in archery season, is public. Well, come weather, come hunting pressure, by the time rifle season starts, the elk start drifting down, and our valleys down here are private, and it's hard to get access to a lot of those places in rifle season. So that's why I'm not as big of a fan about Montana's rifle elk season as I am their archery elk seasons. Do I like Unit 21 in Colorado? I had a deer tag there, third season, and I was a tightwad at the time. I did not buy an over-the-counter elk tag, and every day I could have shot a legal bull elk in Unit 21 in Colorado. Every day I was deer hunting. You think I would have learned my lesson, but I didn't. So, yeah, I like it. All right. Is Colorado getting away from over-the-counter tags in the future? I don't know that for sure, but I noticed they put some of their Southwest units on a draw for archery this year. So I think Colorado is having to address what's going on as far as populations. You read the studies around Vail and Aspen. Just general outdoor recreation is displacing elk away from their very critical habitats and putting them on the margins of the habitat. So those numbers are starting to decline. Colorado's going to have to address that somehow. I'm not sure how they will do it, but it's definitely something they're going to have to think about. All right, Ray White. Hey, I know that Ray White guy. When is the Amazon antelope hunt with Ray White going to be on Amazon Prime? Fans want to know. Hey Ray, guess what? I think you're going to see it on Amazon Prime by March 10th if it gets approved by then. That'll be the first episode of Season 8 on our Amazon Prime channel. Fresh tracks. Go there. All of Season 7's up there right now. It's really cool. All right. Someone keeps asking about a 6.5 PRC for elk. It'll work. Just like a 6.5 Creedmoor, just like a 260, just like it'll work. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it'll surely work. All right. So someone says bone broadheads will be more difficult to balance. I'm not sure why someone would say that. I shoot bone broadheads, and they are just like doom, 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 doom. They're the most accurate broadheads I've ever shot, and so that's my opinion on them. I don't have any connection with them. I just use them because they work really good. In fact, most of the things that we use, if we did a bag dump, most of the stuff we'd shake out of that pack, we don't have a relationship with the company that we use. We don't have a relationship with the tent company, our sleeping bag companies, any of our camp gear companies, a dehydrated food company, albino harness companies, you name it. So bone broadheads, I use them because they work. Oh, I saw something here about a wolf. Are you concerned about the possible introduction of wolves in Colorado? Yep, I certainly am. Mostly because I don't think that a really important wildlife decision should be made by people voting at the ballot box. Do we tell people or give people the right to tell us what the state pension fund should be invested in? Do we all vote on that? No, we hire experts who know what they're doing. The same as we hire intelligent, hardworking scientists and biologists to manage the wildlife, both the game and non-game species. That's how it should be done. It shouldn't be done by some group who has an agenda, who can make a bunch of money by promoting the idea of wolves. That's not the reason you want to have wolves in Colorado. So, someone keeps asking this. What ammo do I use for elk in my 308? Nosler partitions, 165 grain. Nosler factory ammo. Have I ever hunted California? No, I have not. Do I have a system for finding antelope and deer like you do elk? Yep, I do. Move, glass. Every time I move, I glass, move and glass. And so, like in places, say Wyoming, some places in western Colorado, some places in Nevada, there's a ton of roads. Well, most people just drive and glass from the roads. I drive and I'll hike out to where the first break in the terrain is, and I'll glass down in those areas, or I'll climb up the first ridge and glass over that. And so often I find antelope there that are acting completely undisturbed, as if nothing even happened. And then I try to shoot one of them. Austin asked, does a 270 work for elk? Well, it worked for the first 5 elk I shot. My first 5 bulls were all shot with the 270, all using Nosler 150 grain partition bullets. And I don't think any of them went more than 50 yards, if that. So, yeah, if you got a 270, go grab it and go. How do I feel about the 7mm mag? Great cartridge. You know, here's the thing that kind of cracks me up about cartridges. People get all wrapped up around that, and it really is not that important. If you make a good shot, you use high quality bullets, if you put that round somewhere in here, that bull's gonna die. So all this other esoteric stuff, these tangents that we want to get wrapped into, are really not that important. The same, we were having the discussion here at the office today about broadheads and arrow setup and arrow weights. And Marcus shoots probably the lightest setup of all of us, and Marcus just says, well, if you shoot them in the lungs, it doesn't matter. And I thought about that, and I'm like, you know what? That's exactly right. All this other stuff about arrow setup and everything else, just get close, practice a lot, be familiar with your equipment, and shoot them right here, and you don't got to worry about it. Kind of the same with rifles and cartridges. So that's why a lot of times when people ask me that question, I'll say, yeah, that's a good setup. Yeah, that's a good setup. And I don't want to argue and debate it, because, so, you know, earlier someone asked about a 6.5 PRC. If you get within 300 yards and you put that 129 grain Nosler Akibon in the wheelhouse with that 6.5 PRC, that bull is not going to go more than about 50 yards at the most. So if that's what works for you and that's what you have, go do it. I wish I had a better way to say it. All right. What binos do I use? Oh, I don't have them with me. I use my Leupold Sanium BX5s. Use 10x42. Sometimes I use an 8x42, but usually a 10x42. When I'm hunting coos deer in Arizona, I also carry a pair of 15x56s and put them on a tripod. Have you ever shot a blacktail? Yep, I've shot Sitka blacktail, but not Columbia blacktail. And that was in Alaska. Put in for southern Arizona. Oh, we go to southern Arizona every year. It's a ton of fun. Any elk conservation issues that spark your interest that you'd like to share with us? Yeah, lots of them. I'm worried about things, elk migration corridors really have me worried. I'm worried about elk diseases. I'm worried about the management strategies in some states where I'll use my home state of Montana for an example. It's almost like we hate elk. We hunt elk from sometime in August on these shoulder seasons. Then we give 6 weeks of archery season, 5 weeks of rifle season, and then we give another 2 or 3 months of shoulder season at the end. Shoulder season being, okay, if here's the main season, the shoulders are over here before and after. That's what they call them, shoulder season. I'm really worried about the fact that we're not, in a lot of instances, we're not managing elk scientifically. We're managing them socially. And I get some people say, well, you have to do that. Well, guess what? All of the people promoting social management of elk, they have their constituents. They have their voice. They're going to show up. I think me and other hunters, our job is to stand here for the elk, and we put pressure on the agencies to manage scientifically, not socially. Because there's plenty of people pushing the social side of it. We as hunters have always been the people saying, let's manage scientifically, and that probably is what concerns me more than anything. Any difference in the taste of elk from state to state or terrain differences? Not that I have ever noticed. I love it all. If you had to pick 2 states to build points, what 2 would you pick? Arizona and Wyoming. Done. Easy answers. If you listen to the Elk Talk podcast that I do with Corey Jacobson, we went through this. There's a podcast, I think it's number 41 or 42, called The Dime Store Elk Hunter. And we used the example of if somebody had $1,000 as their pool of money to apply for tags and build points every year, how would we spend it? Well, the 2 states we built points in that example were Arizona and Wyoming. And the 1 state we applied for because it requires all the upfront money is New Mexico. And then our fallback plan was Idaho. If you lived closer to Colorado than Idaho, your fallback would be Colorado rather than Idaho. So, and when I answer a question that quickly, it's not that I'm trying to be kind of aloof or smart, being a smart aleck. It's just that's the answer. I don't even have to think about it. Let's see. What are your thoughts on deer, elk, antelope migratory corridors being a cause of spreading CWD from an infected unit to a clean unit? I don't think we have any information that points to that one way or the other. If it does, I've not seen it. You'll hear all kinds of reasons for the spread of CWD. I wish we had more information, but a migration corridor, I've never heard of that being a concern. If anything, when we lose our migration corridors, we end up with elk being concentrated in high numbers rather than dispersed and able to go to their winter ranges and move back to their summer ranges. And those artificial concentrations are probably a higher likelihood of spreading and contracting CWD than if they're allowed their natural movements through migration corridors. But I don't have any science to support that either. I'm just saying logically in my head, from what I know about how congregations of animals usually is not healthy. Let's see, where do I get my gloves? You're talking about my mittens, right? Because I don't wear gloves. I wear mittens. I get them from Frost River Trading Company in Duluth, Minnesota. And I never have cold fingers. Never. Nope, never. John says, 24 preference points in Colorado. Which ranching for wildlife ranch would I try? I'm not sure, John. I don't know anything about that because non-residents are not allowed to apply for the ranching for wildlife program in Colorado. So I've never looked into it. What is your favorite place to hunt in Montana? Wherever I have a tag and wherever I happen to be standing that day. I get asked that a lot. Oh, someone asked if we've ever seen Bigfoot. Hold on. Squatch lives here, huh? Look at that. We got a Squatch costume here. I believe. Oh, I forgot to tell people this. See this On X shirt right here? Everyone who leaves a question tonight is in a drawing for an On X t-shirt. I don't know how we're going to pick the winner, but we're going to pick the winner, ask you your size, and On X is going to send you one of these cool t-shirts. And I bet they're probably even going to throw in a hat. I think I could talk them into doing that. I know I have this wolf skull sitting here because I shot a wolf in November. Maybe that's why it's sitting there. Oh, I'm getting the look from Kyler saying, hey, don't forget to tell them about our merchandise. What is it? ShopRandyNewberg.com. So, Big Hank, right? You always hear me talking about we're going to shoot Big Hank. You can get these out at ShopRandyNewberg.com. And then this one is my wife's. My wife, she likes to fish. This one, if you hook 'em, you cook 'em. So, got that out of the way. Oh, look at that. It says link in the description. My goodness. This Kyler guy, man, I'm telling you what, he's jonesing for a raise here. Oh, what's the coffee next to me? We don't get anything for this. These folks, Elkhorn Coffee Roasters here in Bozeman, they make the best coffee. They're just this little mom and pop joint, and they always bring us coffee. And so I thought, I probably ought to mention them today. ElkhornCoffeeRoasters.com. And then they're on Instagram, Elkhorn Coffee Roasters. Oh, look at that. Kyler, you are just on top of it, my friend. What was that one? There was someone asked, what do you look for when you e-scout for elk on OnX? Go to OnX or go to this channel we have here. We have a whole series of e-scouting videos about how we use OnX for our e-scouting. There's so much to it and so many things that I could go into. I could sit here for 2 days and not even touch on all of it. What's the effective range for elk with the 7mm 08? Depends on the conditions, depends on the shot angle, depends on a whole lot of other things. But we try to keep our shots at 300 yards or less no matter what we're using. So, it's really hard to say. What's the best place to shop or buy Howa rifles? We right now you can get them at Sportsman's Warehouse, the Randy Newberg Signature Series. That's a place where I would go. And they also have, if you type in Sportsman's Warehouse, it has a place where you can buy a rifle and they'll ship it to your local FFL dealer. Let's see. Farthest distance that you have shot an elk with a bow. I think 42 yards is the one I shot in New Mexico that one time. Yeah. I'm not a long bombing guy. I mean, I archery hunt to get close. And 60 yards, some people can do that. I could probably do it most of the time, but that's not why I archery hunt. When I come to full draw or when I'm behind that trigger, I don't shoot until I have that 99.99%. If I was able to, I'd say I wouldn't do it until 100%, but we know you're never going to get to 100%. But I want that 99.9% feeling like as quick as I release this, that animal has about 3 seconds to live. And to me, the closer I get, the greater the likelihood of that happening. So that's why I don't really get worked up about having a whole bunch of pins on my bow, or I've got my dials set out to 800 yards. I am never going to shoot at an elk at 800 yards. I've got friends here in Bozeman who are some of the most impressive long-range shooters. I go out to our range here and I watch them, and it's unbelievable how good they are. But when you talk to them, they say, you know what, I never shoot at an elk or at an animal more than 400 yards. And when you get in a discussion with them, they say there's just too many things that can go wrong. And if I make a mistake on a target, that's one thing. But if I make a mistake on an animal, that's a way different thing. And so I have a ton of respect for those guys because I know they could be making those really long shots, but like me, they hunt for the meat, they hunt to get closer, they hunt for the experience. So I'm just not the guy to answer a lot of questions about long, what's the maximum distance this, maximum distance that. I like to see how close of a shot can I make. I love it when I say, man, this year the bull I shot in Montana was under 200 yards. I'm like, that's what I'm looking for. The javelina I just shot last month in Arizona, it was 30 yards. Those are the kind of shots I'm looking for. Broadhead for grouse. Well, I'll use my bone broadhead. By the time you do that and skiff it through the dirt and rocks, you're about $30 into broadhead and arrow and everything. But I usually carry a little judo point with me. Let's see. Have I ever hunted in the Elko, Nevada area? Yep. And do you know if it's difficult to draw a deer or elk tag? It depends on if you're a resident or non-resident. It's very difficult to draw an elk tag no matter what. But deer tag is pretty easy for the early rifle hunt, pretty easy for the archery hunt if you're a resident. It's still pretty hard if you're a non-resident. Oh, someone's asking about the caribou. Where was that one? Oh, I missed it. Darn. Ever hunted Texas mule deer? I have not. Boy, there's a lot of them here. This is crazy. We made a great decision to take this to YouTube, no doubt. I mean, compared to Facebook, I look at how many people are on here right now. Holy smokes. Someone says elk calls, ? Rocky Mountain hunting calls. Use promo code Randy, get 15%. But besides that, Rocky Jacobson, who founded the company, he has been building elk calls forever. In fact, the technology that he invented got licensed by Primos and some other companies. I mean, it's top notch. This one, I get asked this a lot, and when I answer it, someone's going to think I'm being a smart aleck, and I'm not. Hey, Randy, what's your strategy for hunting elk in thick timber? Go somewhere where there's not thick timber. I don't hunt elk in thick timber for a couple reasons. Yeah, they will get pushed in there, but if you look at thick timber, the elk densities are always way lower in thick timber than they are in these places that are like the edge of an avalanche chute, the edge of a burn, some disruption to the landscape that's caused by whatever it might be. Those are always going to have way higher densities of elk. And I want to hunt a place that has the highest possible densities I can find. And when we're hunting with cameras, we can't be still hunting and sneaking through the timber. We would never get a shot at one. I used to do it. I used to get on a fresh track in the snow and do it because it reminded me of my days growing up hunting whitetails in the big north woods of northern Minnesota. But I just don't do it. I admire the guys who do, and it's great that that some people can pull it off. But the point is, the elk densities are far lower in those areas than the other places I can find to go elk hunting. What is your go-to backcountry meal? When I have to do dehydrated Mountain House meals, when I say Mountain House, is teriyaki chicken or chicken and rice. Now, my buddy Cody Rich, who owns the Backcountry Fuel Box, he sends me new stuff all the time. And in the last year, I have found so many great backcountry meals through Cody. Go sign up for his Backcountry Fuel Box. You're going to learn and get to sample all kinds of great stuff. I can't even name all the good ones I have now. And they're made by companies I didn't even know existed. Let's see. How many more years of this expense, tags, soreness, time off work, flights, away from wifey, etc. The list goes on. I just saw the the 2020 Colorado hunting book. I'm very much on the fence. Scott, I guess that's up to you. I'm going to do it until they put me some sort of mental institution because I'll I am so thankful for the opportunity to go and do it that I'm going to do it as long as I possibly can. And yeah, all those things you mentioned, there are those days when you just feel run down. And this year, from when we first left to when the season ended for us, we left in August and it ended in mid-January. 131 days in that season, and I was home probably 25 of those days. I was sucking air. I mean, there's all these things at home that need your attention. You feel like you've let your family down. But I still feel blessed to live in the greatest country in the world where I can go chase animals on public land. And as long as I can do that, cheers, I'm going to do it. Let's see. Have you drawn a rare tag twice? Nope. I've drawn them once, but I've never drawn them twice. I know guys who've drawn 2 sheep tags here in Montana. That's crazy. Oh, I saw a Mystery Ranch one. How do you recommend carrying your rifle with your Mystery Ranch backpack? I strap mine. The Metcalf has these straps that are on the back, and I just strap it right along there. And a lot of people say, well, what are you going to do if you see one right away? Well, first of all, I've never seen one right away that I couldn't get to my rifle and get ready before the cameras are ready. So because I'm filming and we need 10 seconds of pre-shot, in other words, before we shoot, we want 10 seconds of focused footage of the elk. That elk has to stand there for a pretty good amount of time, so I just carry it on the side of my pack. Which gets me to another point. I never carry a live round in the chamber. Never. And if you hunt with us and you have a live round in the chamber, you're only going to hunt with us for one time. There is no animal that is worth the danger of an accident. There's nobody I know of out in the woods who's been hunting who got shot, either killed or injured, who said, yeah, I carry one in the chamber so that I can get hurt. No one ever intends to get hurt. I'm never carrying a hot round in the chamber, and nobody we hunt with does. So another thing related to that is just be careful. Don't, have fun, but be careful. I have 0 points anywhere. What state should I start applying for and hunting elk and mule deer? It depends on what your higher priority is, what your financial budgets are. We've done lots and lots of podcasts on that, and it would depend on where you live, because if you live in Texas, I'm going to say Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. If you live in Washington, I'm going to say Idaho and Nevada, or Idaho and Montana. So an awful lot to think about there. Looking for new boots. I want lightweight and tough. What do you like? Moby Dick was a minnow when I first started wearing Kenetrek boots. I wear their mountain guides. They are the best boot I've ever owned. It's just, that's the easy answer. Let's see. Wow, someone says our elk season is only 5 days long. Whew. How much time do you scout when you are ready to go hunting? Unfortunately, because we're going from place to place to place to place to place, all my scouting has to be here on the computer in the summer. I don't get a lot of time to show up early and scout. Every once in a while I do. And you've heard me say many times, I'll give up a day on the end of the hunt for a day of scouting, a full day of scouting at the day before the hunt. I do as much scouting as I can. We call it e-scouting. And I have my plan dialed in and ready to go. But when I go there, I want to have a day, if I can, to go and validate what I was seeing with my Onyx maps. A lot of times I can go there and I'm like, oh, instead of this little spot, I should just move over here a few hundred yards. That'd be a better glassing spot. Or I go in someplace, I'm like, man, this looks so good. And I go there and everybody else thought it was good. And so now I got a whole lot of company. Well, cross that out. I'm going to go to one of my alternate locations. So if I can even have one day of scouting, it's going to increase my odds so much. So better. Let's see. Where did I see that? Where can my son catch a grayling in Montana? Go to the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks website, and it'll tell you in the fishing section, it'll tell you all the places that have grayling. There's places here just south of Bozeman that have grayling. When are the Gerber knives going to hit the open market? Seth, sometime in June. Yeah. If you've been watching, Gerber and I have spent 3 years. They gave me access to their entire design and engineering team to come up with knives, 2 different knife systems that are just for elk hunters. This was built with the elk hunter in mind, and yeah, we put some other features on there that makes it easily applicable for deer, antelope, whatever else. But there's a lot of thought that went into those. There's nothing about those knives that is by accident. It is absolutely with intention and design, every piece of that. So I hope when they come out, people like them. What spotting scope do I use? It's right up there on the shelf. I have an 80 millimeter Leupold SX5. This one is a straight. We have a straight and we have a couple angled. So right here, this is what I use. These are identical. It's just that one is a straight tube and one is angled. This is what we use. So, and you can see this one here. This is Marcus. Leave it to camera guys, right? Or is this Michael doing all this stuff here? They cut a hole in there because I don't know why. They feel like they got to tilt it off to the side. They saw it on some YouTube video, so they want to tilt it off to the side. I think that's Michael's doing there. Have I ever spring bear hunted in Arizona? Nope. Any units I'd recommend in Wyoming? Just about any of them. And I say that is go to the Wyoming Game and Fish website, or if you subscribe to the Insider at Go Hunt, go and look at the draw odds, and it'll tell you if you have this many points, here's your odds of drawing. And the higher the demand, the more points it takes, which usually is somewhat indicative of the quality of the hunt. Go look at those, compare to how many points you have, and that's where you should go. What are the skulls below the antelope behind you? Oh, these are bear skulls, black bear skulls. We got a whole mess of skulls around this joint. Here's another shameless plug. We use these skull hookers. You can get them, these ones I bought at Cabela's, but I bet you if you go to skullhooker.com, you can buy them direct. These are the ones for heads like that, and these are the ones for heads with antlers. So, that's it we use. How do you consider fixing hoof rot in the Pacific Northwest with elk? Boy, that's a good question. If we knew, we'd solve it, right? I mean, I look at how much the Washington Wildlife Agency is spending, the university researchers are spending, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is spending. There's a ton of money being put in trying to figure that out, and I wish there was an answer, but it's a tough one. What are my opinions on e-bikes for hunting? I don't own one, so I don't really have an opinion. Where was the first elk you shot at? Here in Montana. Have I seen hunting change from your first hunt? Oh yeah, my first hunt when I was 12 years old, that was 1976. I look at everything about hunting has changed. How we share information, the tips and tactics that people employ, the quality of the clothing, the quality of the ammunition, what we have available to us in terms of backpack, survival gear, GPSs. I mean, Onyx probably as revolutionary as anything in the last 10 years. So, yeah, it was, so much has changed. Randy, prior to filming, did you hunt alone very often, or is that too dangerous? No, I hunted alone a lot. A lot. I'd say I hunted more alone than not alone. Randy, how's your Nissan truck holding up? So far, it's doing great. They loaned it to me for 2 years. I'm giving it back to them this week. So I don't know what the deal will be. Looks like I'm going shopping for another truck. And I'll probably do the same thing I did every other time. I'll pick out the 3 or 4 that I think are the best for what I do. And I'll go test drive them and analyze them and talk to people who have them. And I'll buy whatever one is the best for what I do. And the prior 5 times, that ended up being a Nissan Titan Pro 4X. So who knows what it'll be. Have I always used Bowtech? Not always. I tried some other bows back in the 2000s. And then I think my first Bowtech that I bought was a Destroyer. When was that? 2009, I think, 2010, something like that. And I was using their bows and I loved them. I liked the grip. I liked how they shot. I got some weird things going on with my wrist, so I could tune it really well. Or the guys out at Big Sky Archery could tune it really well. And then they approached me and said, hey, can we work something out with you? And I'm like, sure. So I was using their bows long before I started promoting their bows. So any New Mexico elk hunts this year? Hopefully, if I draw. But I wouldn't bet on it. Let's see. What was the first big game animal I ever bow hunted? Mule deer. I missed a beautiful velvet mule deer right up here in the Bridger Mountains in 1995. Randy, is Sitka gear warm? Yes, it's very warm. It's all about the layering. It works really, really good. When am I coming to Alaska? I'm coming to Alaska in May. My niece, Jordan, her and I are going to Alaska black bear hunting. So, do you use OnX on a GPS unit more than OnX through your phone? No, I haven't used my GPS for 2 or 3 years. The guys here at the office, I'll credit them. They kind of nudged me along with the app on my phone. Now that I have that, I wouldn't even think about going back to my GPS. Not even a consideration. Do I ever come to Oklahoma? No, I haven't. Will Howa Rifles ever come in a left-handed model? No, Howa unfortunately doesn't make left-handed rifles in anything, so sorry about that. Let's see. Southern Utah mule deer. Give me a tag, I'll be there. How would you hunt late season elk in thick timber? Not much open terrain in my area. Well, if it's all thick timber, then the elk densities are probably pretty low. It's going to be really, really, really hard. I would go somewhere else to hunt. And I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear. But if that's what you have, I'd wait for it to snow and I'd get on their track and I'd just follow that track. And when you're following an elk track, you can tell when they're getting ready to bed. They start meandering and walking around, and you can just look in the kind of areas. You can look ahead and be like, oh, that's a good bedding area. You'll be able to see, all right, here's their tracks of an elk that's just lined out and going somewhere, versus here's a track of an elk that is just feeding. Lives in Portland, would put the plan together. I'm on my way. Am I baiting or scouting bear in Alaska? We all do spot and stock. I know baiting is, no, I don't. My smile is my self-defense and my sense of humor. But I'm sure that a grizzly bear is not going to care about that. I do carry bear spray when I'm out in grizzly country. Do you use turrets on your scope or do you prefer a holdover? I'm a big fan of the CDS turrets that Leupold has. I've been using them since they came out, and man, they work good for what I do. What kind of beer do I drink? I don't drink beer. I have a strange liver condition. I haven't had a beer since December 9th, 2004. Not that anybody's keeping track, right? Let's see. Any off-season tips for staying in shape and staying sharp? Hike. That's what I do. I hike. I hike, and I hike. You know, if I want more cardio, I just go faster. If I want more core conditioning, more length conditioning, or leg strengthening, I just bring more weight. And in the process, I've yet to find anything in the gym that compares to hiking in the mountains. I know that's simple, saves me a lot of money, gives me the flexibility of doing it when I want, when it's convenient for me, and that's what I do. Favorite flavor of donuts? Oh, easily the white powdered sugar. Not even a question there. Arizona 22 North, laid elk. I've never hunted it. I have friends who have, and they've seen a lot of elk. Let's see. And there's gravelly mountain elk hunting. Any advice? Prepare for a lot of company. And watch out for grizzly bears. I think last year we had 3 or 4 grizzly bear attacks in there. But there's plenty of elk there. Any Colorado Unit 71 tips? No, I've never hunted Unit 71 in Colorado. What's my favorite non-hunting related hobby? Walleye fishing with my wife. Because she loves walleye fishing as much as I like hunting. Randy, draw the Utah South Cache archery elk tag. This is my backyard and I can get you into the bulls. I did draw that in 2014. You'll see it out on the same exact unit. So, Aaron says, no elk in Colorado. Move along. Yeah, it's so funny when people always say that. Oh, nothing to see here. Where is one place in North America that you would like to hunt, but you haven't yet? The Brooks Range of Alaska or the Mackenzie Mountains of Northern Canada. Those are 2 places that are really on my list. Yeah. Have I shot my Revolt yet? Nope, I haven't. You can see the tags are still on it. I just got done from all this travel. I got to take it out and get it set up, and then I'll start shooting. Still been shooting my round. Shot a javelina down in Arizona last month with my round. So I'm going to take a few more questions, but still want to remind everybody that this Elk Talk Live is brought to you by onxmaps.com. Go there and use promo code Randy. Save 20%. Save 15% on Rocky Mountain hunting calls. What's that? What's this, Kyler?
It's over your shoulder.
What is?
Onyx.
Oh, it is? Oh, what am I supposed to? Oh, let's see. This way. Yeah, there it is, right there. And then down below, Kyler's got all the other ones going, and then he's got links in the description. Telling you folks, I'm not used to this high-tech stuff. We should do a poll. Should Kyler get a raise or an extra day off for this? I don't know. But anyhow, I want to make sure that before we answer some more questions, people know that this content is free because of these companies. Leupold, Go Hunt, again, use promo code Randy. And there's nothing I know of that is better for researching draw odds, units, strategies for applications and drawing tags than Go Hunt. Promo code Randy gets you $50 of credit in their gear shop and gets you in the drawing for the Wyoming Commissioner's Tag. Gerbergear.com. Use promo code Randy. Save 20%. I think I've covered them all. And then Tight Spot, Ripcord, and Black Gold. All of the accessories on my bow, they help make this possible. What else we got here? Someone says, I look ancient. That's because I am ancient. You know, if you were as old as I am and spent as many days sleeping in a tent as I do, you'd look ancient too. No, I don't doubt that at all. I have not been getting much sleep lately. Let's see. Opinion: Northwest archery elk hunting, grizzly country. Not sure when you say Northwest. If you are asking Northwest Montana, yeah, grizzly country for sure. How did you start getting your name out before you got famous? First of all, I don't think I'm very famous. And I didn't ever say I want to get my name out. I've been involved in conservation volunteerism for 30 years. I've been involved in public land advocacy, conservation advocacy, clean air, clean water, all that stuff. That's been what I spent my spare time doing since 1990. And in that process, you just make relationships and you start having a voice. And I don't know, didn't ever plan that it was going to turn out to be this way. Let's see. Any tips for Unit 17 Antelope in Wyoming? No, I've not applied there. I've never drawn a tag there. Have I ever been charged by a grizzly? No, I've had 2 grizzly encounters. They went that way, I went this way. Thankfully, when they stood up and they saw I was a human, they were gone. Last thing I need is a grizzly bear encounter. Am I rooting for the Minnesota Twins this year? Kind of. Of all the sports I watch, football and hockey are the 2 I pay attention to. Baseball a little bit, basketball not really. Sleep is for wimps. That's why God gave us caffeine. Oh, suggestion for a water filtration system. There's a lot of really good gravity flow filtration systems out there. Depends on how many people, but I always carry my Catadine, my base camp, and that's the one that I tend to use the most. And the reason is that we usually have multiple people in camp. It'll do 10 liters so fast. I don't like pumps. I have pump ones, but they're a pain in the butt, right? You got to sit there. I just like to pour a bunch in, get my bag filled, hang it up, and let gravity do the work. So, and if you go buy any of these things I talk about out at the Go Hunt Gear Shop and use promo code Randy, they'll give you 10% off. Mystery Ranch packs, Gerber stuff, Caribou game bags, Kennetrek socks, Hilleberg tents. Yeah, I mean, the list is long. Let's see. Someone said their dog died. Man, I feel bad for you. Sorry about this dog. Our little cockapoo is almost 17, and it's on its last leg. It's never fun. Will I be at the Total Archery Challenge in Big Sky, Montana this year? Yep, I will be giving away dilly bars. Yeah. You got to become a member of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and I'll give you a dilly bar. How good is that, huh? Randy, thank you for your Arizona Unit 10 cow elk tips. I harvested my first elk last season. Whew, I'm glad to hear that. If you knew how much grief I got for giving you that advice down in Boise and here on Elk Talk Live, people are just, Newberg, you give away way too much information. You're blah, 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 blah. So I'm glad that you were able to go in there and find a cow elk and kill one. Congratulations. Cool. I hope you go again this year. That makes me feel good. Makes up for all the criticisms I get that I give away too much information. By doing this Elk Talk Live, doing all of our strategy sessions about how you draw tags, how you e-scout, all that, my goal in life, so right over here on our whiteboard, it says our why for this business is to promote self-guided public land hunting and create advocates for that cause. And to create advocates for the cause, we need to tell people how you can go and do these things, hopefully give them some pointers so they don't make all the mistakes I've made. And then I live by a motto. My motto I live by is hunt when you can, because you're going to run out of health before you run out of money. And I want to do what I can to see people hunt more, not less. And if that gets me in trouble with folks who say I give away too much information, I don't know what to say, but I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to get even more hate mail. Oh, but anyhow, that's what I do. Have you ever hunted with Steve and Ranella? No, Steve's office, those guys, meat eater guys, are about 3 miles that way. What year was it? I think it was 2013 or 14. Steve and I had planned to go to Alaska and hunt Sitka blacktail. And then he'd been up there that spring, I think it was. Yeah. And they were bear hunting, and they all came down with trichinosis, right? You remember reading about them? And Steve calls me, he's like, man, I feel terrible, but me and the crew, we just found out we all got trichinosis. So that hunt got canceled at the last minute, and then we're both so busy, we've just never had a time to do it again. But they're great guys. Their platform, the Meat Eater platform, I love their stuff. What is my backcountry medicine kit? Oh, yeah. My backcountry med kit is Adventure Medical Kits. And you should go out to Adventure Medical Kits. They have the best medical kits. I don't know if I have one of them around here, but I have a whole bunch of them. Adventure Medical Kits, just go to adventuremedicalkits.com. And they're the best medical kits I've found. Hands down, not even a question. They're the makers who make, right? We hear about Quick Clot. They make that. They make trauma packs. They make tourniquets. They make so much good stuff. Go there. Oh, look at that. Kyler, how are you doing this, man? You are just knocking it out of the park today. Gee. So Miranda says, what is e-scouting? E-scouting is electronic scouting or computer scouting. It's scouting using onX maps right here at your computer, using all their aerial stuff, all their burn layers, their roadless layers, all of that. If you go to this YouTube channel you're on right now and type in e-scouting, you're going to see all kinds of videos where we've done lots and lots of e-scouting. Let's see, Utah over-the-counter elk. Any desire? Not really. And the reason being is it's crowded. It's usually going on when I have opportunities to hunt in other states that are less crowded and probably a likelier outcome of a better encounter. So Utah's got some really good stuff, but I'm really not a big fan of their over-the-counter elk. Now, I know some people are going to say, wait a second, I do that every year, and I'm glad you do. Tips for spring black bear spot and stock. Dan in our office says that he's doing a video on tips of spring black bear hunting because when he moved to Montana, it was his dream to go do it, and he couldn't find any information. So this morning, in our staff meeting, everyone has to get up and pitch their idea for the next video. Dan said he's going to do a video about tips for spring black bear hunting. There you go, Dan. See? This guy, he's going to watch it, I bet you. Let's see. Someone asked this great question. When is the Randy Newberg Hunter Elk Life book coming out? I don't know. I get asked that. In fact, I had a book contract, and the publisher, he went off and did something else. He got tired of waiting on me. I feel terrible. What state have you seen the biggest bull elk in your life? Arizona, 2005, Unit 10. I had an early rifle tag, and 2 nights before the season, we called in the biggest elk I've ever seen alive. And we hunted him for 5 days and never found him. And as a result, I passed up a lot of other really, really nice bulls that I kind of kick myself now. But what magnification do you have on your spotting scope? These right here, I don't know if it'll show up, but it's a 27 to 55. And usually I'm at 27. When I first look at something that I want to see it better, I dial it up to 55. So, let's see. Do I think elk tags are too expensive? I think non-resident elk tags in many instances are too expensive, and I think resident elk tags in many instances are not expensive enough. I just don't think it's healthy when the western states just keep piling on the non-resident, keep piling on the non-resident. I mean, what's my elk tag cost in Montana? Like $20 as a resident? That's almost embarrassing. If I filled this with coffee from the coffee joint and I spilled it 4 times in a year, that's how much they say my elk tag is worth. I value elk a heck of a lot more than that. So when you ask the question, are elk tags too expensive? It kind of depends. But I look at what we pay in Montana and Idaho and some of the other states, we really don't pay very much at all. So someone says, what mistakes are the most common for a new elk hunter? Not paying attention to the wind. I would say the wind screws up way more people than any other thing out there. What hunter safety courses do you recommend? Any of them. There's a lot of them by Calcame. But can I do a shameless plug here for Hunters Connect? Do you know how to do that, Kyler? Kyler helps produce our videos for Hunters Connect. And what it is there's a lot of people who are just getting into hunting. And they're adults, and they don't have a mentor group. So we started building a series of videos for the International Hunter Ed Association. And they're all out on a YouTube channel here called Hunters Connect. So if you're a new hunter or you know someone who's a new hunter, share this page with them or this channel with them and go watch some of them. And I hope that it's helpful along the way. I know some people are going to say, that's too basic for me. I get that, but our job is to lower the hurdles because we want to create more advocates for the cause of public land and public hunting. So, let's see, Kyler or Tyler? Kyler. I don't want to give them your last name. They'll all fanboy you. They'll all follow it. What's your Instagram handle, Kyler?
Kyler_Cavin.
Kyler_Cavin. Cavin. There you go. Everyone go like him. Randy, all you do is plug. You're worse than NASCAR. Well, Drew, then don't watch. Okay? Because that's why this is free. We have a money-back guarantee, Drew, that whatever it costs you to watch or listen, we'll give you your money back. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's who pays for all this stuff, are these companies. And the other part is, every one of these companies, with very few exceptions, I've been using their stuff since I was a kid or since they started. I bought my first Leupold scope when I was 14. I didn't have a deal with Leupold when I was 14. So, if you don't like it, no one's forcing you to watch. Some people have they wake up in the morning with the attitude that I'm not happy till you're not happy. Well, guess what? I'm always happy, so I'm going to win. Oh, my goodness. That cracks me up. Do I have any tips on blacktail hunting? I don't. Darn, sorry about that, but I've never hunted. I'm assuming you're talking about Columbia blacktails, but someday I'm gonna go do it, and then maybe I'll have some tips. But right now, I don't. Let's see, best spotting scope. I think I showed you right here, Santium SX5 from Leupold. Let's see, where's Sasquatch? We're giving him a little break right now. Was he out ice fishing with us? Is he going ice fishing with you guys tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Kyler and the team, they're going to do the city limits ice fishing gig tomorrow. Do I use game cameras? No, I don't. Because they just got legal in Montana a couple of years ago, but I'd be interested what people think of this. We were thinking if we could find a game camera company that did really high quality video, that we would go out and everyone on the crew would have 2 cameras. You do one as a backcountry camera and you do one as a backyard camera. And then we'd go pull the cards. Okay, I got to pull mine on the first Monday of every month. And Marcus has to pull his on the second Monday of every month. And we'd put together videos that says, here's what we're seeing on our cameras, just for people to see what, and we'd explain where it's set up, what time of day, I don't know if people would watch it. But anyhow, we thought about that, but I don't own a game camera. So, do I use the same rangefinder for archery as I do for rifle? Yep, I do. I don't have it with me. It's a Leupold 1600. Let's see. I need to make a visit to Jack Link's back in Wisconsin. I'm with you there. Did I enjoy the Pacific Northwest Sports Show? I did. It was really, really good. That Portland Sports Show, I was so impressed with that. I had never been there before. And it is so cool. You guys it's the second biggest sports show in the country. I'm going to be there next year. And I'm thinking, what's going to be the big deal? Like, we had the big film night there this year where Leupold and RMEF had a film night where we showed a film. A couple other folks showed films. And I think they raised over $30,000 for RMEF's access program in Oregon, just in that and then a little game they were playing on the floor. So there's got to be some other ways that we can do that stuff. Things we can do to increase access, like OnX. Okay. I don't know when they're going to announce this, but I'm going to give you a little insider thing. OnX helped open up this access program in Arizona last fall, and we hunted rabbits on it this year. And they're just quietly behind the scenes. They don't say a lot about it, but man, they're doing such great stuff. And it was this checkerboard stuff. And what did OnX do? They went in there and helped Arizona Game and Fish. They helped them with the funding to get all that checkerboard stuff in an access arrangement. It's stuff like that if we can raise money to do that kind of stuff, man, that'd be fun. Count me in. Let's see. Someone keeps asking about bow hunting books. I don't know any good bow hunting books. I would go out on YouTube. There's tons of really good videos out there. How was Pheasant Fest in Minnesota? It was great. Do I ever go to SHOT Show? Yeah, I go there every year for SHOT Show. I'm hoping some year I don't have to go though. Nothing personal, but I've been to 16 SHOT Shows. And you always get sick when you go to SHOT Show, right? In the work we do, all the people in this business, they call it the SHOT Show flu because you get sick when you go there. What game bags do I use? Caribou game bags. Been using them for years. Don't get paid a dime, but they are great, great, great. Chopper gloves, yep, I'm going to use those. What's my thoughts on the 1 million acres the state of Wyoming is trying to purchase from the oil and gas company down in southern Wyoming to increase public access? If they would do that, I think that is the best thing because right now it's that checkerboard, right? Looks like the black and red on your checkerboard. If someone could come and just buy the surface rights, even if they didn't buy the mineral rights, the subsurface rights, just the surface rights so it would provide access. Whew, yeah, hallelujah. I hope they do it. I'll pitch in I don't have a lot of money, but I'll send them some money to help them get that done. Would I use a scope cam? You know, we talked about that here because we looked into them, but I don't think I would. Yeah. All right. Someone says, are you doing the gutting and gilling method, or are you doing the gutless method? I do the gutless method. I've yet to find out a reason to do the true gutting. But even when I do it, I call it gutting and gilling. What is my rifle scope magnification? Most of them you would see on my rifles are 3 to 15. Let's see. All right. Bo's hunts were excellent videos. I'm captivated by his llamas. That makes 2 of us. That makes a lot of us, right? First of all, Bo's the coolest guy you could ever hang out with. Second of all, his llamas, they're just, oh man, they are backcountry bad. That's what they are. So how is Bo Beatty doing? He's doing really good. Bo's having a big llama and hunting thing. It's the second Saturday in June this summer. He's asked me to come down to Idaho Falls and do a seminar, so I'm going to do that. He's going to be auctioning off a few llamas, and yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. Someone asked Randy, what is your liver condition called? It's called hepatic thrombosis or portal vein thrombosis, or what it means is I don't have the portal vein that goes into the bottom of your liver. So all I have is the splenic vein that comes in the side of my liver. So I'm getting about 30% of the blood flow to my liver that all of you are getting. So some days if I look a little peaked, look a little yellow, I'm kind of groggy, it's because I've got a really high toxin load and my blood can't go through my liver to get rid of that toxin load. So if ever we have to call in sick here and cancel one of these, I would bet there's just about a 90% chance it's because Randy's having a hepatic flare-up. So, but if that's the worst thing I got to deal with in my life, it's going to be a pretty darn good life. Because I live in the greatest country in the world. I wake up every day. I've got my wife. I've got my dog. I've got my great family, my great friends, my great employees. What more could I ask for? So, hell, little liver problem. Ain't even going to worry about it. Minor detail. So, is a mistake in bow hunting waiting for a bull behind a tree instead of in front of it? Yes. Do not stand behind the tree. Get in front of the tree. And when the bull starts coming to your shooting lane, draw them. So, have I found any sheds yet? I've not been out shed hunting. I don't really go out shed hunting. But I picked up a pair in Wyoming this year. Did you see that, huh? Yeah, I got to figure out what we're going to do with those. Do I recommend any energy drinks? I don't. Because of my liver condition, I got to be really careful what I put in my body. So I don't do supplements. I don't do any of those energy drinks or anything like that. So how important are thermals? Probably as important as anything that you're going to encounter once they start going up or start going down. Well, let's just say they're probably they're probably as important as anything you're gonna encounter while you're out there. Someone says, I hear that Randy set a record at the hospital for creatinine levels. Maybe. Do you think the gutless method or the other method is better when you have an animal within 2 miles of the truck? I think the gutless method is better unless you've got an animal 2 feet from the truck. Yeah, I would, because I got to still quarter it and do all those same cuts when I get it home. So why not just do them out in the field, carry that thing over there and throw it in the truck? Way easier. Way easier. Best overall Sitka pants, late August archery to late October rifle deer and elk. If you're going that late in the season, you're probably going to want the mountain pants or the Apex pants. Depends on so many things though. Does it rain a lot? Do you need knee pads? Yeah. Do I like to hunt turkeys? Turkeys interfere with my spring black bear hunting and my walleye fishing. And I am the worst turkey hunter, certainly in our office, probably in all of America. I've shot 2 turkeys in my life, which I say is evidence that every species has its share of outliers that are just really stupid. And I happen to encounter those too. I should go on the Joe Rogan podcast. Well, you get Joe Rogan experience to call me, I'll be there. But he probably has better things to do than some chucklehead like me. Oh my goodness. Randy, looks like at one time you used Remington rifles. Why did you switch to Howa? You know what? I had Remington rifles. I had Winchester rifles. I've had Ruger rifles. I've had Howa rifles, Kimber rifles. I've had them all. And when I was kind of picking all right, I want to have a rifle that I'm comfortable with, that works, I went through the whole gamut of them, and I ended up using Howa rifles. And they sent them to me for a year and said, try them. And I tried them. And I said, you know what? These are way more capable than I am. And that was, I think, in 2010. So now for the last 10 years, that's what I've been shooting. Yeah, I've tried them all. There's a lot of great rifles out there. I like Howas. So I don't know how to say that. But well, what are you thinking here, Kyler? What is my go-to fixed broadhead? I think we answered that about 3 times already. It's a bone broadhead, 125 grain. Yeah, 2-blade. Do I eat animal hearts? Oh yeah. I'll give you the kidneys. I'll give you the liver. I'll give you the tongue. I ain't giving you the heart. You ain't getting my heart. Nope. That's mine. Let's see. Is a sat phone necessary? I don't think so. Did I apply for Arizona elk in 2020? Yep, I did. But I don't have a lot of points, so I'm going to, you know how Arizona has the bonus draw where 20% of the tags go to the highest point holders, and then it has the random draw where it's all based on bonus points. My first choice is a pretty tough one. My second choice is still pretty tough. I think both of my choices, I have less than a 20% chance of either of them. I think even less than 15%. So I could still draw, but probably very unlikely. So, oh well. If I don't draw, maybe next year. So, well, with that, folks, we've been at it for an hour and a half. And, well, it says 87 minutes ago. And I appreciate y'all being here. And we're going to be here next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Kyler, are you going to be our production manager next week?
I'll be here.
All right. I think we're going to put Kyler's picture up here next week so everybody knows who the man is. Huh? I mean, he's got a big smile. How old are you, Kyler?
I'm 19.
He's 19. He's an MSU student over here, but he's our part-time employee. Started as an intern. Now we just call him the part-time employee. And we can count on him to troubleshoot anything that we just don't have time or interest to. He'll solve it. And we can count on him to smile. And if you come here and you smile at this office, that's probably enough that you're never going to get fired. I thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoy some of this. I hope that you find it useful. And I hope you see the companies that make this possible. And I hope that when you're thinking about buying product, you think about them. So, have a good evening. Don't miss the deadlines. Out.